Hello everyone, this is Sri from TechieTalksAI. Welcome back to our channel. This is the fourth video in our LeRobot SO-101 robotic arm series. And if you have been following along, you already know that this series is not like most robotic arm videos on YouTube. Most videos jump straight into assembly, tighten this screw, connect that motor without really explaining why things are done the way they are. But we are doing it differently. In this series, we are going step by step, understanding every bit of the entire process mechanically, electrically, and logically, so that when we finally assemble the arm, you truly understand what you are building, and this will help you to explore further, adding your own innovative dimensions to this wonderful project. In our previous videos, we covered basics of LeRobot, the serial bus driver, why intelligent serial bus servos are far superior to traditional PWM pulse width modulation based servos, and how to number and configure the servo motors from 1 to 6. In this video, we'll focus on the anatomy of the SO-101 arm, understanding the 6 degrees of freedom, and most importantly, the types of servos used in the leader arm and the follower arm, and why they are slightly different. This understanding is critical before we start assembly. And as always, if you're serious about learning, we offer one-on-one mentorship and the structured AI and robotics internship. Visit shogini.com for details. All right, let's dive in. Everything we do, motor mapping, gear limits, must align with this. Treat this not as a brochure, but as a reference manual. Understanding this now will prevent mechanical mistakes later. The SO-101 is a 6 DOF robotic arm, 6 joints, 6 independent axes of motion, each joint powered by an intelligent serial bus servo. These servos communicate over a shared bus, reducing wiring complexity. We saw that in our last video. Every servo has absolute magnetic encoder, meaning it always knows its position. No homing sequence is required after power up. And also an important thing is the encoder is connected to the output shaft. So irrespective of the gear ratio or the internal gear ratio or the speed at which the motor is actually moving, the encoder tells us exactly how the output shaft moves. Remember, we set 1 to 6 motor IDs. These motor IDs are not arbitrary numbers. Each ID is mapped to a specific joint function. Last video, we saw the names of these joints. J1, base rotation. J1 joint is the base rotation joint. So here are the 3D printed parts. Here is the base, and the motor that comes here is numbered 1, and that is J1 joint for base rotation. Then we have J2, that is for shoulder lift. Here we have joint 3, that is elbow flex. Then we have the wrist flex motor. When we assemble these joints, it will become very clear. I will also play their original side-by-side original assembly video. And then we have J5, which is wrist roll motor. And then finally, we have J6, which is gripper to open and close the arm. This manipulating is identical for both leader and follower arms. Consistency here is crucial for teleoperation and learning. Now, very important note, often missed, and very often makers assemble and then realize, or order the parts and then realize that the motors are wrong. The follower arm uses 6 identical servos. They all come in boxes like this with screws and wires in it. So you don't need any extra wires to connect them, and you don't need any extra attachment to use these motors. They all come very well packed in a single box like this. Okay. And they all move also in a similar way. But the problem is, there is something written here, the gear ratio 1:345, 1:191, or 1:147, etc. We will see why. In general, remember, each servo has 1:345 gear reduction ratio. That is, output shafts one revolution. In order to make the output shaft rotate 360 degrees, motor will have to turn 345 times. That is, motor will have to turn 360 degrees 345 times. So this gives us high torque, high precision, and stable, repeatable motion. And remember, the most important thing is arm fitted with such a motor, that is 1:345 gear ratio motor, is meant to execute motion, not to be moved by hand, not to be turned by hand. Because if you have to turn this one revolution, remember the motor will have to turn 345 revolutions. So that much of power is needed to turn. So you need extra mechanical advantage, a lever attached in order to be able to turn 1:345 gear ratio motors. Let's look at the leader arm gearing. Remember, leader arm is the arm that we are holding and physically moving the robotic arm to collect training data. Okay, the leader arm is designed for human interaction. Gearing is intentionally mixed. Higher reduction where strength is needed, lower reduction where smooth manual movement is needed. This makes teleoperation intuitive and fatigue-free, because you will have to repeat the operation several times to get good data for training, sufficient number of training data. You feel the robot, not fight it. So these are the ratio. Base and shoulder pan, we use 1:191 gear ratio. Shoulder lift, 1:345 gear ratio. Remember, all these are for the leader arm. And elbow flex, we will use 1:191. Then wrist flex, 1:147. Wrist roll, 1:147. Gripper, 1:147. See, so the wrist and the gripper, the mechanical advantage is lower, the gear ratio is lower, so that we can easily move. Clear? So when you order for motors individually, you need to ensure that you order these separately. Otherwise, they'll ship same type of motor. Now, establishing a 0 point. Servos operate on a 0 to 4095 tick scale. The mechanical center is approximately 2047 or 2048, the midpoint. This center point is critical for correct horn mounting, aligning leader and follower arms. We will see them in practice. And clean dataset recording. That is, the dataset collected through the leader arm will be meaningful for the follower arm. Skipping this step causes jerky motion and misalignment. In our second video, we saw how to turn the torque off. These servos, we can switch them off so that you can easily turn the output shaft. So the torque off allows free, sharp movement. Remember, all these are for the leader arm. Move to center, that is 2048, via software or manually. Fix the horn and re-enable torque. This simple discipline prevents hours of debugging later. Never rush this step. So in the next video, we'll see this. There is no universal ROM or range of motion in degrees for robotic arms. ROM depends on physical geometry, mounting angles, wiring constraints, and collision risks. What matters is safe, usable motion, not maximum angles. So the correct way to set the operational limits. ROM or range of motion must be defined in ticks, not degrees. Each motion has minimum tick, center tick, and maximum tick. This directly maps to hardware truth. Degrees are derived later. Ticks are the ground reality. So here's a practical ROM template. Every arm build is slightly different. This table is your custom calibration record. Fill it only after mechanical centering, collision testing. This becomes your robot's safety contract. So the hardware specification at a glance: 6 motors, 6 joints, absolute encoders, mixed gearing for leader, and uniform gearing for follower. So total 12 motors we need. Each arm will have 6 motors, 6 joints, and these motors have absolute encoders. Then mixed gearing for the leader arm, uniform gearing for the follower arm. ROM, or range of motion, defined in ticks. This slide summarizes everything we must respect before assembly. So that brings us to the end of this video. Now you clearly understand the anatomy of the SO-101 arm, 6 degrees of freedom, and why the leader and follower arms use different servo configurations. In the next video, we'll finally begin the actual assembly, and because you now understand the why, the how will make perfect sense. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. If something wasn't clear, please ask. And if this video helped you, like, share, and subscribe to Techie Talks AI. And once again, if you want deeper guidance, we offer one-on-one mentorship and a structured AI and robotic internship. Visit shogini.com for more details. This is Sri from Techie Talks AI. See you in the next video where we start building. Bye-bye. Stuck with tech? Overwhelmed by AI, cloud, or coding? Mentor Expert gives you personalized one-on-one help, step-by-step guidance, and instant clarity. Your solution starts here.